name is Candy Mendoza, and I'm going to be telling you guys a Peruvian folktale, and it is Moon Rope, which is an adaptation of The Fox and the Mole. I would recommend age group probably between 3 and 6, 3 and 5, so that the kids could really understand the concept of the story. So this is how it goes. So one day, the mole was taking a break from doing all that digging for worms, because he likes to dig for worms because he likes to eat worms. And Fox came by, and he's like, "Mole, if you could have anything in the world, what would it be?" And Mole's like, "Wow, well, worms, worms, and more worms. How about you, Fox? What would you want?" And Fox's like, "I want to go to the moon." And Mole's like, "The moon? Why the moon?" And he's like, "Oh, it would be great to go all the way to the moon." And he's like, Mole's like, "How are you going to get there?" He's like, "I don't know, but I'll come up with something." So Fox goes off, running through the grass, and he likes running through the grass because the grass goes and tickles his tummy, and he likes to laugh. The grass is so great, and you know what? It gave him an idea. Why don't I make a rope out of grass? Grass is so cool, I can make a rope out of that. If we just braided it, I can go make it really long so I can go all the way to the moon. And he was so excited about his idea, he ran back to go talk to Mole, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I want to see Mole. Mole, guess what?" He's like, "What?" He's like, "I got an idea on how we can get to the moon." He's like, "Us? What do you mean us?" He's like, "Yeah, we can both go, because guess what? The moon has worms. Big worms. Huge worms." And Mole's stomach started growling, and he's like, all right, I'll go with you." So they start braiding up all the grass, because this rope's going to have to be big to get all the way to the moon. So they braided and they're braiding, and it takes them a long time to braid a rope long enough to go to the moon, but they did it, and then they had to wait for the crescent moon, because of course they're going to have to loop it around and put it on that tip. So, you know, the crescent moon came, and the fox was excited because he's like, "Oh yeah, we're going to be able to go to the moon. We have this great rope." So, you know, he picks up the rope, and he grabs it, and he starts twirling it, and over his head, and he twists, and he turns, and he throws it, and he just watches it go up, and oh no! Oh, plunk right on his nose. Ugh! Fox was not happy at all. And he's like, "Oh man, how are we going to get this rope all the way to the moon? It's so heavy and it's so far. I already tried throwing it, and my nose can't take another bang." And Mole's like, "Why don't we ask the birds? The birds can fly all the way up to the moon and put it up on that tip." The fox's like, "Yeah, but they're not going to want to go all the way to the moon. That was our plan." So the Mole's like, "Just ask, let's just ask. We never know." And he's like, "All right." So they go and ask the birds, "Hey birds, would you guys please take that rope all the way to the moon so that we can get there?" And the birds are like, "Sure, we'll take it." So the birds put it around their beaks, and they fly up, and they fly up all the way up to the moon. And Fox and Mole are waiting, and Fox is getting impatient because, man, he really wants to get to that moon tonight. And the birds finally come down, and he's like, "Is it ready?" And the birds are like, "Yeah, it's ready." And Fox is like, "Oh, right, great." So he grabs the rope, and he starts paw after paw, and paw after paw. And Mole is like, "All right," and he starts putting claw after claw and claw after claw. And Fox is so excited, and he's just like not looking down, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to get to that moon," because he's eager to get to that moon. And he's up, and he goes up, and he goes up, and Mole's just claw after claw, and he's looking down, and he's like, "Oh," and he looks up, and oh, and he's looking down, and all of a sudden his claws slip, and he goes down and down and down, and plunk, he lands on a bird. And he's like, "Whew, thank goodness I didn't fall all the way to the ground." So the bird has him, and Mole's grabbing on tight because the bird's going to take him home, and he just wants to make sure he's not going to fall, and he's grabbing on tight, and the bird flies all the way down to the ground, and he lands, and Mole just hops off, and he's like, "Whew, I made it." And of course, all of the creatures were watching this whole time, and they just start laughing. "Oh, Mole, you just fell on purpose. You just didn't want to go to the moon. Oh, Mole, you're so silly." And Mole is just like, "Oh, I don't want to deal with all this fuss." So he starts digging, and he digs, and he digs, and he digs a whole little tunnel all the way to the ground. And he stays there. He stays there for a long time. And to this day, Mole will not come out during the day. He will only come out at night when the rest of the creatures are sleeping, and he will never, ever, ever listen to a fox again. So you guys are thinking, what about Fox? Did he make it all the way to the moon? Well, if you ask the birds, they'll tell you that in a clear night, just clear night, when there's a full moon, you can see Fox. But if you ask Mole, he says he never, ever saw Fox again. What about you guys? Have you guys ever seen Fox during a full moon? The end. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you.